Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday at Two Lines Slot Cars. I apologize about canceling last night, but at least you'll be able to maybe understand me tonight. So, hopefully you're doing well. I'm doing better. Doesn't sound like it, I know, but I am. And thanks for all the messages. I really don't make a big deal about being sick, but it really interrupted my schedule this week. So thanks, appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We'll see how long the voice lasts. I've tried not to do a lot of talking. The last thing I've really done was sing on Sunday, and that wasn't good. And I've kind of rested the voice ever since. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Who all do we have in the chat? Let's go back. We have John Tucci is in the chat. Area 51, George went live earlier today. It's all getting some laps in using Race Coordinator. I see. That was good to have that put up on the screen. It looked good up there. We'll talk a little bit about that. That was my video this past Saturday. Been playing around with Race Coordinator and getting to know that program. Again, I'm a big fan of Smart Race, but it doesn't do round robin racing, and that's how we race here. And so I was looking for something else, so we can talk about that tonight. I put the Scale Auto together, but it's a white kit. It's not completed. I just kind of snapped it together just so I could throw some laps just to see what it would do, because I was too curious. Haven't decided what color I want to paint it. So we can talk about that car. A little update on the Jägermeister F1 tonight. We can talk about the Racing Fly. Talk a little bit about this car if we want. I'm up for you, whatever you guys want to talk about. So, but we got John Tucci, we got George, we got DeFingers. DeFingers, good to have you back, man. Hopefully you're feeling well. Hopefully things are going well for you. But good to have you. Who else do we have? We've got the Barry Racing Club is in the house tonight. What's up? John Albright. How's it going, John? Hopefully things are good out on the West Coast. Raul, buddy, I'm sorry I missed Monday. What a great conversation. I was kind of out of it. I called Raul and George, and who else was in there? Sorry, still coughing a little bit. Track Fans TV. Yes, mate. Legend. Pete was in the house, and I was so upset that I felt like a truck had hit me. One of my brother's Kenworths that he built. I was a mess. And so I called into about 10 minutes before those guys started and said, I'm going to bed. So I went to bed, but I had the live stream up, and I could kind of hear, I was kind of in that space where you're half awake, half asleep, and I could hear. And towards the end, I heard the schematic come out in the conversation about the shirts. So I jumped back in the conversation, but I was trying to catch up. But it was really good stream. Sorry, Raul, I missed that. Hey, Bo, welcome. Good to have you. Hey, Scott Marble, I just got your message. Glad. Hopefully you have a grinder. I never thought to ask if you needed the coffee ground before it got shipped out. So hopefully it's good. Congratulations. Chris, good to have you, man. Thanks. I need to look at that link. I think that might be what I need, a 3D chassis for the 917. I think it would be fun to play around with. Patrick, good to have you. Welcome, De Leon. De Leon, man, that is awesome to see that video go crazy. I don't know, is it close to 60,000 views right now? That's nuts, man. That's nuts. That answers the question that maybe there's a lot of people out there interested in slot cars. The key is how do we small channels find those people, right? So for all of us that don't have a ton of subscribers and don't have a ton of influence, but are talking about fun things and are really enjoying the hobby together as a community, how do we get those people to find our channels? And so you titled it right. You had the right content. People were curious about what was going on, and that's what did it. It's all about good content. So great job, Rob. Couldn't happen to a better guy, man. Who else? Who else do we have in the house? There's a lot of traffic early. RW53. Thanks for joining, man. Good to have you. Hey, you guys are in the path of the storm in South Carolina and North Carolina. Hopefully you're okay. Those you are in Florida. Hopefully the flooding's not too bad down there. I haven't heard from Greg and some of the other guys that are down there in Florida. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Good evening, mask optional. Thanks, John. I tested negative. Let's see, who else do we have? I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm missing there's a bunch of pre-show text I'm trying to get through. Eric Tucker, welcome. Slot Car Daddy. Daryl Rogers. Slot Car Daddy. Hey, man. Good to have you. Daryl, I don't know why Marty doesn't start. It looks like all of the important people are here already. I have no idea what time that was. I started about 30 seconds early, Daryl. Sean Casey. Sean, definitely. Thanks for reaching out to me earlier this week. I've got a bunch of things going on at work this week, and then I'll be out for a couple days. So maybe let's try to catch up early next week. Maybe I've got a couple days off coming, so maybe we can jump on a call at some point. So I'll hit you up with a message, but definitely want to continue our conversation. I like where it's going. So let's see who else. My brother is in the house. Dusty, how was dinner? Things going well? Yeah. Good to have you. Hey, Bo. Welcome, man. How are things over on the other side of the pond? Hey, Gary. Hope you're doing well. That's right. Hey, sicko. Oh, man. Dude, Chris, it sucks. I had a bunch of stuff and it wouldn't move. I coughed for about a week and with no production. Like, it just laid in here and in here. And that's why my voice, jokingly yesterday, I said I sounded like the movie trailer voiceover guy, that I could probably make some money doing movie trailer voiceovers in a world. So it's all good, man. Hey, Gene. Welcome, man. Good to have you. You should just start at the end. I know. I'm just going to scroll past all of them. So if I missed you, I apologize. Hey, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget, if you have a question you want to throw out, put a Q in front of it. Q. That's kind of a Q, right? Put a Q in front of it. Yeah, Bo, I've been doing the tea and honey. This straight honey really does make the vocal cords. I don't even have a sore throat. I know it sounds like I do. I just coughed so hard for so long that I probably did a little bit of damage. So once all of this clears up, hopefully it'll straighten up a little bit. But hey, Lindsay, good to have you. Mr. Bacon. Hey, Vin. Hope you guys are doing good. A little nasally. Yeah. It's nasally because I'm I'm still kind of a mess, but it really is. I coughed a lot and really probably did some damage to my vocal cords. It was way worse yesterday. I'm getting a little more of it back today. So, hey, Jamie, welcome. I can't stay to stop in and say hi, Marty, save your voice, and go run some cars and let the people chat. That might be what I end up doing, Jamie. Thanks, man. Hey, Dan. I hope you're doing well, man. Good to have you. DNA, welcome. DNA, I have questions about that controller. The DD, what do I have? The 302, and that's the 304, right? I'm curious to know about the braking. I don't know if you can compare the two. You probably don't have the 302. But I'm really curious about the braking, if it's worth the extra money. But that's a nice controller. Congrats. Johnny Pro, welcome. Good to have you. Hey, Mad P, you're on early. Good to have you. Let's see here. Steve, I heard you the fast guy on Saturday night. They said that you were flying with the Revo slot. But it was a borrowed car, I heard. So you're going to have to get you one of those Mercedes. Those are good cars. So congrats, man. You guys did not want me anywhere near you on Saturday night. Show me slots, welcome. Good to have you. Hopefully you're having a good week. What else? Hey, Don. Good to have you, Don. Thanks for joining us tonight. Typically, I'm on Tuesday nights, but because of my illness and a bunch of other things, I had to move it to Wednesday. And so here we are. We're a day late, $1 short. Story of my life, but it's all good. So we'll talk some slot car stuff tonight. I don't know we'll let the chat kind of decide where we go. Billy is in the house. Someone needs a chicken noodle soup sponsor. That's right. This week's sponsor is Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup. Good. That's great. Thanks, Billy. I can always count on you. You're my man. Let's see who else. Can race coordinator handle penalties for deslotting? Vin, that's a great question. I don't believe so. I don't have a way to connect race coordinator like I can with the Smart Race. I can connect the iPad to this. I can't connect this computer yet. I'm working on that. It was baby steps. Getting that computer to connect into my live stream, I'll work on that. George has already got it, which it looks great on screen. But I do not think that it handles penalties. I didn't see anywhere in the app. So again, it's not perfect, but it does a great job of managing just a basic race, which was what I was looking for. So I don't normally. Then let me backtrack a second. I think that you can. I don't have a track call button. Let me revisit that. I have a track call button, but I'm using the webcam to do timing, so the software is not controlling the track power. But you can set the amount of seconds when somebody comes out of the slot and there's a track call. When you hit the space bar to pause the race, it will penalize the person coming out of the slot that caused the track call, because I can set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many seconds you want before the power actually shuts off. So I guess there is a way to penalize somebody in race coordinator that way, but not like Smart Race where you can assign a penalty where it decreases the power to them. I've not seen that in the app, but that might be the type of penalty you're asking about. And so if that is your question, that can happen. I could see setting it up for like 1 or 2 seconds. So you come out of the slot and it causes a track call that you lose, a couple, 3, 4 seconds before the power shuts off to the track for everybody else. So then at that point, you are 3 or 4 seconds further behind than where you were when you came out of the slot. So yes, it can do that. All right. Deck Night, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Chris, good morning. You must be over in Australia, maybe, Chris, if it's morning for you. Sorry, starting to dry out already. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I was surprised by that. I woke up on Monday, Tuesday. What day was it? Yesterday? Woke up yesterday morning and saw that I'd crossed over the 2,000 mark. That's pretty exciting. I had no idea when I started this channel, one, if I could get one to grow. My original goal was to possibly get to 1,000 subscribers, and I did that, and been blessed by another 1,000. I hit the 2,000 mark. Again, it's really about the community. If the community continues to grow, that's amazing. I'm very thankful for that. But I'm really happy where we're at right now. I feel like there's enough of us when I post content. There's a lot of great discussion. There's a lot of great interaction. And when you don't have a lot of subscribers and your numbers are small, you post a video and you might get maybe 1 or 2 or 3 comments. I post a video now, I get, 30, 40, 50, 60 comments. And I feel like it's so much more productive from a community standpoint, where we can answer questions and ask questions and elaborate maybe even deeper in the comment section than we do in the video. So, and then that's the other reason why I do the live stream, is because we can then talk about it and discuss it kind of in real time. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Steve. That's all because of you guys, not because of me. And I think it has a lot to do with the collaborations that I've done with George and Raul and Dave Kennedy and Travis and Massimo and then lots of subscribers who have jumped on early and are in young channels like Rob and DNA, and I can't forget Slot R. Really appreciate Dave. He and I bounce a lot of ideas off of each other, and really just formed a really good friendship with him. And I appreciate him and his channel and how he contributes to mine. He's always great to give me feedback, and if he sees things that I can improve on, really helps me out. I really appreciate that. And I get that from all those guys. All the Slot Venger guys, really important to me in my life. And, we joke around about the name, but it really is such a great support group. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. And then you like Billy and Amanda and people coming on my live stream, like Jim Cunningham and Kevin from Racetrack Scenics. And, I've been able to bring some people on to the live stream and have some great conversations. And there have been some other people like Mark from Smart Race, just haven't been able to connect. We've connected, but we've just not been able to make it happen on a live stream. So there's still a lot of things I'd like to do. But yeah, it's fun. And getting to 2,000 helps me gives me the motivation to get even better. So here's to the next 500. If we can grow to 2,500, that would be awesome. But if we don't, and this is my ceiling, I'm pretty stoked about what will happen. It's all right, Billy. Welcome. Yeah, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, man. Let's see. Yeah, show me. Can you imagine that? That's crazy to think about. Hey, Jeff G. Happy you're on. Hey, Greg. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Danny. Hope you're doing well. Thanks, guys. People like free cheese and wine, so subs. John, Central Florida is okay. Just wind and rain. That's good to hear. I have family down in Paso Grill Beach, and they said that Gulf Boulevard was flooded, but they were doing okay. Just a lot of rough water. So, Ron fast. Thanks, Ron. And Don, you've been RC racing this summer? Yep. The weather is starting to change. It was a little cooler tonight here in Ohio, so maybe we'll all get back to doing some more slot car racing as the weather turns into fall. Thomas from Tampa. Yeah, the hurricane passed you by. It went a little north of you, right? Which probably helped out a lot with the storm surge. So good. That's good to hear, Thomas. Glad you guys are safe. Yeah, I mean, you guys were getting some crazy. Had a blast at Bernie's. I know, man. I need the burnout. Nice. I like that. That's a great nickname for Bernie's track. It never fails, man. So I had a music gig on Saturday. Of course, I'm sick. I was supposed to play music at this church, and it was for a youth event. And they didn't have anybody show up. And I felt bad for the church because they didn't really promote it a whole lot. And they don't have a lot of youth that go to the church. So I showed up and I was prepped to play, but it would have been really bad because I really couldn't sing. My voice was shot. And so it kind of worked out. I think somebody took care of that, so I didn't have to sing. But that's why I was not able to go to Bernie's. I'd had that on the schedule for about 3 months. So it seems like I've always got something scheduled anytime Bernie's racing. Got to get down there. The village never disappoints. That's good, Dusty. Hey, John Schaefer. John Schaefer's in the house. Welcome, John. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you, bro. Joe Wilson. Good to have you, man. Frankie Tomatoes. Thanks. I appreciate that. Drink some tea with hulls in it. I know, Gary. I've tried that. That does a good job. It works really well. I sing a lot, so all those tricks I've tried. Honestly, honey does the best. Just straight spoonful of honey. It really does a good job. John Albright. I like my honey with hot brandy in it. After enough of them, you don't care. When I was a little kid, I used to go into coughing fits. And it was pretty uncontrollable. And the only thing that worked was like the codeine cough syrup. And you have to get that at the emergency room. Back when I was a kid, they didn't dispense that out very easily. And I remember I would take that stuff and it basically just knocked you out and your body relaxed and you'd stop coughing. Yeah, the hot toddy. Yep, that does a pretty good job of working. The comedian Pablo Francisco does the movie Trailer Guy. Pretty funny skit. George, he does. I've seen that before. Yeah. In a world where men versus beast. He just makes up stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. If I had a good imagination, I could roll on with that. But the voice is pretty close. I'll be honest. Yep, a little whiskey probably would help. Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, man. That happens a lot. I cannot keep up with the. Peter is in Yeah, Peter, I have been sick for about a week. Maybe actually, it's longer than that. Um, I was getting over it, and for about 2 days, I felt really good last week. And then come Thursday, like it hit just overnight. Like I was right back to worse than I was before. So, yeah, man. Josh Reed. What's up, Josh? Hopefully you're doing well, man. All right. I'm saying hellos and I can't get to anything. Johnny Pro, Hex Boy. Yep, happy hump day. It's Wednesday. Chris, if you don't have a way to switch to analog, your only option will be the Carrera F1 cars they come out with. Chris. What was the question? Did I miss the question? Q. Nope. Q. Chris, there you go. Is there any F1 cars that will run on Carrera Digital 132 out of the box? Your only option is Carrera, unless you go back and watch my video on how to make a digital to analog box converter. And then you can run anything. Or you pick up a tech slot box, which Joseph has 3 still available based on the Facebook page. So if you've been in the market for a tech slot box, go to the tech slot box, send Joseph a message on their Facebook page. He had three of them left the last time I checked. And I told him I'd get the word out. They are great devices, guys. They really are. All right. I'm skipping to the end and catching up. Thanks, RW53. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully we'll keep that up. But it all helps when you guys are in the house and chatting along. So that's why everybody comes, because there's plenty of people to talk to and lots of people to get answers. Gladstone. I don't know about right now. The sound of my voice. That's funny. Hey, Steve Sweeney. Hopefully you and Chris are in the house tonight. So some of the things, the non-schematic. That's funny. You can go out to Conquest Layer, and I should probably post the link to that, to Raul's page. Raul, if you're out there, post the link, and you can get your very own non-schematic t-shirt. So we'll jump on this one first. So everybody knows by now that Mr. Albright sent this to me to do some testing and really compare some notes. How he tunes a car versus how I've been tuning a car, and if there's any differences, and just kind of how it was really just a learning experiment, right? And this is a fun car to drive. I'm really impressed with these NSR F1 cars. I had not purchased one because I was afraid they would be a little fragile. Our experience with the Carrera is you end up breaking everything off of them. Again, we were running them digitally, so there's a bigger chance of them hitting each other, rear-ending other cars when you're changing lanes and flying into the pits and things like that. So I should have known that they would probably be a little tougher, just because they wouldn't have to take the abuse that a digital car takes. But I'm super impressed with just this performance. But it is right there with like all of the vintage cars that I have, the classic Can-Am cars. It is the fastest NSR car that I have right now. It's right there. It's just a touch faster than the Mosler on this track. I think it's just because it's so light. But fun car. If you don't have them, they're inline. They're running a 21K. They do the King 21. They do have some magnet effect. I have not finished my magnet Marshall. Just haven't had time. Been sick and haven't been down here on the track. I wanted to put it on the magnet Marshall just to see what kind of magnet effect that it had. I don't know that it has a lot of magnet downforce, even though it is pretty close to the track. I think yeah, this is a great car. John, you did an awesome job tuning it. It flies around the track. I really wanted to test it against those guys down at Bernie's on Saturday, but I didn't make it down. They wouldn't have wanted this sick guy hanging out with them. But great car. Trying to think who asked me the question about the Revo slot. Who was that? It was Wildman, I think. Wildman sent me a message. Was it Wildman? We were trying to figure out how to replace the guide. And the guide, that is a it is a 1.5 hex to get the guide out of the Revo slot. So that was a question that came up this week. I sent him a little video of how to take that guide apart. And so I have my 333 apart at the moment for that. But we talk a lot about the Revo slots. And, this is honestly what I love about them. This is such a great chassis design since I have the body off. That aluminum chassis is great. Performs well. They're smooth. They just work really well. They're a little heavy, but man, they're just fun on the track. So you just cannot go wrong with the Revo slots. SLOTS, Revo slots. Let's see. Tad29 is in the house. Welcome, Tad. Danny, you like the tuxedo black one, but $200. What are we talking about? The CUDAs, SCX CUDAs. Yeah, Bruce from Cincy Slots put out a video. He has them in stock, but I don't think he has the three or the two that are like the high end, the orange and the black. Those are the ones that are $200. Gene asks, who got any new cars? I just ordered 2 SCX CUDAs, the yellow and the blue metallic. Yeah, I don't have any new cars coming. I'm trying to decide. My next purchase is probably going to be a Revo Slot Group 2. I'm just trying to decide which one that I want. And I'm actually kind of dragging my feet because they've got some new liveries coming out that a couple of them I'm kind of excited about. So really like to see them, not in real life, but, in real pictures, not mock-ups. So I don't know. Anybody else have some new cars coming? Frankie says, my F1 is by far the fastest car, but it doesn't have the best time. They're so light and they tend to deslot. I'm just not good enough with them yet. Yeah, Frankie, I get this one around the track pretty good. It stays in the slot really, really well. It has a slot invasion guide. That is a nice upgrade to the NSR F1, if I do say so myself. It's really good, especially with Carrera track. They do a nice job of staying in with that. Greg, best bet for that is the Omni slot box if you want to keep using your Carrera track. Greg, let me go back. I missed the question. There you go. Now, that's just a link to the non-schematic schematic. But if you just go to conquestlayer.com, You can see all of the great shirts that Raul has out there. It's fun. Greg, I love my tech slot box. I would like a hardwired analog track, but the tech slot box serves my needs for now. Yeah, Greg, so that's what I was running, tech slot, and then I built my own converter box because I wanted to use my analog controller, and that was a fun project. I learned a ton about the inner workings of a slot car track. I kind of know wiring them now inside and out, which was a great exercise for me to really understand what I was doing. I really understand how digital works now, at a level way beyond what I originally knew. I've been inside that CU about 1 million times in the last month, so I kind of know how all that works, and which is pretty cool. But yeah, analog. People keep asking, is there a trend going back to analog away from digital? And I don't think so. I think people are just enjoying both. We talked about that a lot last week. So, yeah, thanks, Tad. Appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Shotgun Dave. I saw Harry running your cars the other night. In the first lap, he broke one. I was like, that would be me. That was the first thing that I did with a car George sent me. George is like, hey, run this car. I ran it the first lap. I broke something off of it and had to glue it back together. So I felt awful. So Harry, he's like, we'll solder that back on. Let's go. More laps. So I thought that was great. Question. Okay, we already got to Gene's question. Did anybody else post about new cars? Let me scroll down here. So that explains DNA's answer to Greg. Yep, Omni Slot Box is a great way to go. It is like plug and play, pretty easy to install. Does everything you need it to do to be able to switch between digital and analog. It's great. Let's see. Yeah, that one is pretty pricey, Gene. $200 for that car. But, if you're a collector, you want to have all the colors. Those are very limited, so I get the price. You're not wrong about having a sick guy hang out. I'm not sure. I heard the COVID super spreader slot car race at Bruce's house. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. That's funny. That's great. The super spreader. Yeah, Slot Invasion makes a guide for the Revo slot. Yep, it works really well. I got 3 Kudas from the previous release. They are beautiful cars, but I really don't like to drive them. I built a brass chassis for one of them and love the way it handles. That's cool, Greg. The brass chassis for the Kuda. Yeah, I'm not sure how well those SCX Kudas run. They look great. I mean, the detail is fantastic. Nice, Gary. You're building that model kit you showed. The split bumper Z2870. Nice. Can't wait to see pictures of that. That'll be cool. You're using an H&R chassis. Hola, Monte. How are you, man? Hope you're doing well. You picked up a Camaro pace car last week, editing a video about pace cars as we speak. Nice, show me. That's Patrick. That's cool. Look forward to that. Bruce had to order too many cars to get the 3 1 of 100. Yeah, I'm sure they probably wanted to spread that out across all of the vendors. So I get it. I've got a Fly Marcos on the way. Ah, nice. Now, Danny, is that your first Fly car? If you have any questions about tuning a Fly car, call Daryl, call John. Don't call me. I'm joking. I've gotten halfway decent at tuning the fly cars, but they're a little quirky. George has got a great video on tuning a fly car. So I would check that out once you get your Marcos. Actually, I think John was tuning on a Marcos the other night, actually. I think he put a post on Home Racing World about it. One of my ponies is missing from the stable, so I'll be getting a replacement Lamborghini slot car. Did somebody steal a car from you at the track, Billy? Am I understanding you correctly? DNA, too many cars arriving. DNA, you do have too many cars arriving. You're trying to catch up with Raul. I watched your video, you and Sasha. So, yeah, you guys picked up you had an expensive trip to Electric Dreams, bro. Thanks, Monty. Yeah, I'm feeling better. Actually, I feel like my voice is getting better the more I talk. Imagine that. Jake Chrisman, I'll be racing at the BRM 24-hour race, the Revo Slot Nationals in November. Jake, where are those at? Are those in Europe? I'm curious. A 124 scale 24-hour race. That's pretty cool. I think I watched them. Oh no, wait! I watched a lot of the NSR Nationals, or the European Worlds, whatever they call the NSR World Championship, whatever. I watched some of that. I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat Electric Dreams' coverage, to be honest with you. Anyway, moving on. Just got the MR slot car McLaren. That Marlboro car, Deck Knight, is really nice. My brother has one. It's a fast car. It gets around the track really well. It's nice. The Mosler golf scheme is always, you can't go wrong with a golf. I think most of us are suckers for a golf livery. Got the Marcos for $20, limited edition, new in box. Fantastic. I picked up a new Revo Marcos and the 3 cheap SCX Cudas. They were dirt cheap, Daryl. Cheap SCX Cudas. What are they, 90 a piece? The Revo Slot Nationals up in Washington. Also, they are in the United States. Is that 132 slot cars? Is that Alan? Is that his name? Does he host those? Man, I don't have any way to get up there for that. Too long of a drive. Would have to fly. Explain that to my wife. I'm going to a slot car race. Picked up 2 NSR Porsche 908s, the Sunoco and the Endurance World Champion Limited Edition. Nice, Chris. Chris, you've got a pretty hefty collection going. Let's see. Yeah, Josh, at Scale Racing Center. Okay. Is that in Tacoma? So is that Alan's place? That's cool. I'm entering a team and currently looking for drivers. Well, Josh would be a good one. Josh is fast. I want to try the F1 Polycar. Barry, I think those are really, really cool. Those old school F1 cars that Polycar does. The old Ferrari too. That's a great. That would be a great pickup. I have the Polycar Benetton Monoposto on the way, along with a second NSR Audi R8. Nice, John. Why wouldn't someone have both? Analog makes the hobby that much better. Both digital and analog, Frankie. I think that's what you're referring to. I agree. I think there are times where running digital makes sense and is a lot of fun. Adding fuel simulation, things like that. I think that's a great intro into slot cars. And then gradually kind of winding back to analog for the racing aspect is a fun. That was a great transition for us here at this track. it's really kept us very interested in slot cars for, we're going on almost 2 years now. Here in, I don't know, we got it in February. So in February, it'd be 2 years we've had the layout. And yeah, I agree. I'd be down if I didn't live across the country. Yep, holiday season flights are expensive. With the race coordinator, do I need 3 separate call buttons to have the track power cut? We're a 3-lane routed analog. So, Vin, you can do that. You can have multiple call, and you would be wiring an analog track. You would wire your call buttons like normal, and then basically to connect to to connect to race coordinator, you would need the USB device that would allow you to connect to a relay that would interrupt the track power. And so basically it would go in between, your relay would go in between your power source and the USB device. And then out of the USB device, you would carry that wiring over to your track call buttons. And so that any of those buttons get called, it would tell the software to trigger the relay, which would kill the power. It all happens very fast, but that, in a sense, there's a nice wiring diagram out there. If you look at call buttons from TrackMate, there's a nice wiring diagram on Slot Car Corner for that. So that would give you an idea of what you would need to do, Vin, for your wiring, and it would work regardless of what type of software. Pretty easy, and it's just like an automobile relay, 4-post, single relay. It'll control all that. It's pretty easy. $50 for 4 days of racing. You can't beat that. No, Jake, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Michigan 24 is about the same cost, but it's a 3-hour drive versus a flight away. Yeah, Josh, you guys are planning to do that again. Speaking of that, I'll move on to the next topic before I pick something out of the chat. I don't think I'm accomplishing much. Sorry, guys. This is the Scale Auto that Josh actually hooked me up with. Got me in on a bulk buy with Greg, and so we purchased this. They came over from Spain. I think they came through Cloverleaf in Michigan. I think they were probably the importer that helped bring these in. Maybe. I may be wrong. Josh, correct me. But this was my first Scale Auto, and it's a white kit. And I'll be honest with you, this is a sweet car. I've run a few laps. I actually found a set of silicone tires I didn't realize I had that actually fit it. They fit it really well. But they're a little shorter, and it puts this car right on the ground. And it definitely needs some tuning. I haven't run enough laps to figure out what it needs yet, because my plan is to paint it. But what a great chassis design. And I just don't think I've got the chassis adjusted right yet, so I need to really figure that out. I do have the front end set up, and that was a big, big adjustment. It comes with a long cam motor. It's a 22.5 long cam at 12 volts. So I'm usually running my track at 14. I've backed it down. I've been running at 13 since the F1 car showed up. And this car is still, it is fast. And it's still a handful, to be quite honest. It is, it's quite the handful. So I still just don't have it getting around. But I have not started adjusting the motor pod, and I think that's where I need to start. The car just feels really tight, and it's kind of a tough car to get any kind of body float on. No matter how loose the body screws are, I don't really feel like I've got a lot of body float. So if anybody has this is the 963 Porsche. You can tell I haven't even taken the plastic out of the windshield. I've got it together, but it's not really together. I don't have the interior in it. I don't have the windshields in it. I just slapped the body on the chassis and did some laps. So anybody have any idea of where to start on tuning this thing? Let me know. I figure I'll have a conversation with Greg about what he's doing to his cars and in prep for the Michigan 24, because they are looking at this as a possible car to run. But I will tell you that it really feels, compared to the SRC, these would run in their hypercars. They would run in the same class. I really feel like the Scale Auto is a much more a tougher car. It seems like it could handle a little more abuse. But I will tell the SRC is fast. It runs under 8 seconds for a no magnet car on my layout. That's fast. It's quick. I haven't quite got the Scale Auto running. I've got it down to around 8.2, 8.1, but it's not under 8 seconds yet. And in comparison, I'm running 8 flats with the F1 car. John, you will be happy to know that it did finally go under 8 seconds. Sub 8, it ran a 7.996. So it's fastest lap. Again, that's at 13 volts. So if I ran at normal 14 volts, there should be a little more time in that. But the Scale Auto, does anybody have familiar with this chassis and kind of some ideas of what might be good for a Carrera plastic track? I'm all ears, because I think this has a chance of being a really fast car. Yeah, don't know exactly how to get it there yet. So, but it looks good, man. It is a good looking car. Once I get it painted up, plus I need some ideas. What color? I'm not real big into like big multicolor. Like I did a 2-tone with this because I wanted it to look sort of like a Marlboro car. But I don't know, what color do you think the Scale Auto should be? It's a nice car. Take the body off so you can see the chassis if you want. But let me catch up with the chat here. Just for something different, I ordered a Penelope pit lane Maserati 250F kit this week. Nice, Sean. That's cool. I have 4 in transit and 5 at LEB waiting on pre-order. You changed your digital to Evolution. Yeah, I know a lot of people have moved back to analog just so they can run all the different cars. Barry, if you would like to talk about putting your digital CU back in and creating a little switch box to change it to analog, I can help you with that. There's some great ones to buy out there too, but I can give you some instructions on how to build one for a reasonable cost. Say under $100. And if you have some material already, maybe $50. No, there was a hole in a box. I specifically remember having all the cars when I left the track. Oh, gotcha, Billy. Sorry, I'm catching up. I'm lucky now I'm close to the sea. Let's see here. Yeah, Monty, you guys be safe down there. I'll only have 2 at LEB on pre-order. I know what 2 you have on pre-order, Dusty. They're sweet cars. They probably will be released pretty soon, too. Be my guess. Waiting on the new Polycar BRM. I will be driving the GTA soon. In the GTA soon. I believe there are some collectors with over 2,000 cars, so I'm very far away from being a prominent collector. So prominent collector. I think that there are probably a lot of guys that have 100 slot cars or less. Probably lots and lots of people at 50 cars or less. That's about where I'm at. I'm at like 50 cars, let's say. Remember, this whole shelf is John Mark's. Those are not my cars. So I think that as you get to 200, 250, 500, your numbers really start thinning out of number of people who are collecting those kind of numbers. So I think that a 500 car collection is a pretty big collection. Now, there are guys out there like Jim Cunningham, Bruce Yeomans, just to name a few, that have probably thousands of slot cars. And then somebody talking about on a live stream, maybe I'm imagining this, hallucinating from being sick, that there was a Pickers episode where one of the guys valued his slot card collection at like $1.5 million, and he had 20,000 cars or something. That is a monster collection. Yeah, I don't know how you build a collection that big. Plus, where do you store it? So, but I would think like prominent collector, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 cars. Those are probably really, really big slot car collections. I don't know. That's just my take from just watching lots of YouTube videos and listening to guys talk about their car collection. But yeah, that's a lot of cars. 2,000 cars is a lot of cars. The guy that runs our local club has over 4,000 cars. There you go. That's a gigantic collection. DK Moon, I prefer the blue golf scheme over the black scheme, but I did get the black golf Mosler. Yeah, I do too. Here is the black. This is John Mark's. The NSR Golf Black Corvette. What is this? The C7R. And that's a great looking car. I really dig it. But I think you could get it in the blue when they released it one other time. I'm sure that was super popular. But we all know that's a true golf livery, right? The blue and orange. So, yeah. And they've made some changes, Some cars, they're dark blue instead of the light blue. But I agree. I like the traditional golf liveries a lot better, but it's not that I don't like that black golf livery. That's sharp. Yep, digital racing is still fun for basement leagues, especially when you can have 6 friends racing on the same track. Totally agree. That's crazy. I thought Raul had a lot of cars. Chris, I feel like you have a lot of cars, bro. All the pictures you post. It's like every day of the month. Here's the first of the month, and here's cars that are all numbered 1. Here's the 28th of the month, and here's 12 cars that are number 28. I love it. I look forward to your pictures every day. Debating on buying the Skelectric Aston Martin V8. Chris Scragg. Let's see here. Too many, that's why I ride my bicycle. Billy, when I hit the lottery. I only ran digital until I joined my local club. Now I love running my analog cars as much as my digital. Both are different types of racing and tons of fun. Gene, that's a great comment. That's exactly what happened to us. We were super happy running digital cars. We honestly didn't know anything about analog racing until we went to Bruce's club at Cincy Slots and met up with Daryl and Steve and Bernie and Tom and Pat and James and all those guys, then and Bruce, they got us hooked on analog racing. And how they run is they run an analog race, which is run as a round robin, and then they basically run, they use how you finish in the analog race to seed you in the digital race that happens second after the analog race is over, which I think is brilliant. That's a fantastic way to do it. So all of us schmucks at the bottom of the list, we have to race in the C main, and then, the top two move up into the B main, and then they race a 14-minute race, and then the top two move up into the A main, and those 6 will race. I think it's a great way to do it. So they do both, digital and analog, on the same night, and it works out really well. I picked up a Team Slot Alpha golf livery, hand-painted, limited to 60 units. Wow, Jeff, that's I bet that is a great-looking car. Pairing an Arduino board with a race coordinator opens up an insane amount of options. I agree. I honestly don't know anything about those boards, but I've read a little bit here since I picked up Race Coordinator, and it might be the route that I go to be able to connect the software to my track power and be able to do track calls from the software and stop the race. So if Race Coordinator is where I land, I really want to get my hands on Lapmaster and take a look at that. But I'm guessing I can probably use that Arduino board, if I'm saying that right, Patrick, to do the same thing. Maybe I'd like to have a good conversation about that with you at some point. If you're up for it, let me know. Let's see here. You would like my bike studio. I have raced for Alan Cannondale, specialized, and finished with Trek. Let's see here. Gladstone, how many cars are enough? At some point, the dollars make no sense. Yeah, Gladstone, I really, it's really slowed down for me. I'm getting really picky on what cars that I want and want to spend my money on. And then all of a sudden, Slotted puts out another 962 Group C car. I was like, oh my gosh, I love Group C cars. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite classes. So, yeah, but at some point, it's hard to race them all. But if you're a collector and you enjoy collecting them and keeping them organized on a shelf, I'm not sure how organized this is, fellas. The top shelf is nothing but empty boxes. I don't know what to do with all the jewel cases. So I'm thinking about building a shelf on one of the stone walls in here and being able to display them all in their jewel cases. But they're very easy for me to access on these shelves right now, except for the fact that they kind of get dusty and I've got to wipe them off. I can just grab them, throw them on the track, and go. So I don't have to mess with the boxes. So that's the tough part. But, yep, Gladstone, that is a great question. Put some decals on it, Gary. Yeah. So what I thought about doing was, since it's already white, of making this the Rost car. Speaking of Rost, my coffee sponsor. That's a great segue. Don't forget, if you're a coffee drinker, go to roastcoffee.com. Use 2 lines, all one word, and you can get 25% off your first purchase. I sent Trent a message. I'll share this with you guys. I'm like, Trent, here's the person who won this past week. I sent their name and address to him so he can send them free coffee. And I'm like, I don't know if this makes any sense for you anymore. I plug you all the time. I keep your bottle right here with your logo. I don't know that if anybody is ordering coffee from you. And his response back was hilarious. He's like, dude, I love doing this. I just want to partner with you. And it's some free coffee. I love to give away free coffee. So we'll keep doing it as long as Trent wants to keep doing it and you guys keep wanting to drink coffee. I have to laugh. I have yet to pull somebody's name that doesn't live in the United States, and I know that's going to happen. That it's going to pull somebody who is in Canada or in the UK or in Australia, and I'm going to have to send you guys coffee and figure that out. So I'll personally go to the store and make sure that Trent doesn't have to pay for shipping for that. But it's somehow it has worked out all this time that it's been to people in the United States. And I guess maybe I should make that a rule, just so it doesn't cost Trent any more to ship. But we haven't had to deal with that yet, so we'll deal with it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying the coffee, and we'll get back to some slot cars. But Trent, thanks, Roast Coffee. Appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Let's see. That one came from Evotech in Spain. Mike up at Cloverleaf did order some and brought them in. They never hit the website as they all sold out immediately before we could sell. Gotcha. I did take the body off. This body is super lightweight, but I will tell you that it feels tough. It's not as flimsy and flexible as the SRC body is very. I mean, it moves a lot. I've got a lot of float in it, but the body itself just seems a little more fragile. I haven't had any problems with it. I mean, I've wrecked it a lot and it hasn't broken. But this chassis, I love this chassis, man. Scale Auto does a really nice job, and I like the two-tone color, the gray with the green. I just think that just sets it off, and you know when you pick it up off the track that it's a Scale Auto. It does have suspension, and so I guess that's what's throwing me is I don't know when I throw it up on the setup block if I've got it set up right for suspension. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for on how loose. I guess I could kind of compare that to. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see where we at. Spoiler alert, Team Grizzly Racing, the Michigan 24 team I'm on, will more than likely run a Porsche 963. Spoiler alert. You heard it here, folks. Welcome to Slot Car. This is not news. Not going to go there. But you heard it first from Josh that Team Grizzly, more than likely, positively more than certain, will run the Porsche 963. That's cool, man. It's going to be a good car. It is going to be fast. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys do. You want to get a side-by-side. That's cool. Those are cool. Lack of mobility sucks. Hey, Moondoggy, I'm not sure what that's referring to. I will say a good set of glued and trued silicones will make that car a lot better. When you come west, you'll probably run one of the 5 or 6 we have in the 3-hour enduro at Butch's. Cool. Let's see, where else are we at? Gosh, guys, I can't keep up. Marty, the 963, I tuned mine watching a guy that does videos from Spain. He does a great job with the 963. Jeff G, I think I've found that video that you're referring to. I need to go back and watch it. I did a search for it. It's in my history, so I can go back and find it easily. But I didn't get a chance to watch it when it came out. So a fan just kicked onto my basement. Hopefully it's not too loud in the microphone. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Let's see. Barry asked, how many feet your track? My track is 8 foot wide by 24 feet long, and it's about 97.5 feet lane distance, and it is equal lane distance. But I will tell you that the white lane is fast lane versus the blue lane. But we're getting better at racing the blue lane, and it's getting closer and closer. So there's only about maybe 0.2 or less, depending on the type of car. Some cars perform a little better. Like this car, I can run faster laps in the blue lane with this car than I can with the white car, or in the white lane. And so there are a few cars that actually run the blue lane a little faster than the white lane, but it tends to be the longer wheelbase cars. The Revo slots are really, really close in both lanes. The NSRs are faster in the white lane than the blue lane. The Thunder slots are really fast in the white lane, really fast in the blue lane, and they're about 0.2 apart, 1/10 apart. Just hopefully that helps you. Lap times, total lap times, 97 feet. The way this track's laid out, I'm running a well-tuned car out of the box. No, I don't even know how to do this. Tuned fly cars run 9-second flat. A really well-tuned fly car. I have a couple that will get under 9 seconds, but most of them run around 9 to 9.2, 9.3, and that's them running really well. And those are really good laps on this layout. An NSR out of the box will run 8.5s. Revo slots tuned will run about 8.4s, 8.5s. Thunder slot, these are all stock cars. Thunder slots will run about 8.1s. And then when you start tweaking cars, the NSR F1 is just under 8 seconds. The SRC is a 7.9 car. The Thunder slot with a 22.5 bearing motor from, who makes that motor? From Predator. You're looking at about a 7.4, 7.5. No magnets in any of these times. And then a 25K in a Thunder slot Elva with a 25K Piranha motor will run 6.9. It will sub 7 seconds with no magnets. But that 25K has a lot of magnet downforce in the Elva, which is what helps it go that fast. So there's some comparable times. Guys always have questions about my layout. Had a conversation with John Mark and Dusty just yesterday, I think, via text, talking about how much they really love racing on this track. Thanks to Jamie, gave me the initial layout idea, and then I kind of manipulated his idea, and we've settled on this layout, and we love it. It fits the room really well. I've got some plumbing I got to deal with over here on this side, so it kind of cuts that corner of the table, and it fits really well. So prominent tuner. Steve Sweeney says Dusty. Dusty is getting better at tuning. I must have missed something, John. Is the time of year when a lot of new cars should be hitting. Yeah, I'm sure they try to release a lot pre-Christmas because they know that the buying increases at Christmas. People are getting their tracks back out. I mean, that was one of the things with our first slot car track as kids. Dusty and I would drag that thing out like the week of Christmas before Christmas would get there, probably hoping that Santa Claus would bring us new cars. But we would drag the slot car track out and play with it like during Christmas break as kids. And so I would say that they probably plan to release a lot of stuff kind of in that timeline. Do not listen to this man. You need at least 1,000 to be a collector. Shop at Sunday Slot Cars to catch up. Oh, Billy, don't make me laugh, man. Making me laugh makes me cough. That's great. Oh, gosh. So, prominent tuners, John, I would list you in that as a prominent tuner. I think there's a lot of great tuners out there. I've been fortunate to be around a couple of them. A lot of conversations with John Albright. Daryl is a great tuner. Ask Steve. He got to run his Revo slot and almost won the race. Something about doing burnouts, Steve. If you would have done less burnouts, you may have won that race. There's a lot of guys that can tune out there that are really, really good. I mean, just go find your fast guy at your club. All the fast guys are pretty good tuners. What I thought was interesting watching the footage from the USA Nationals, there was a lot of cars that guys in the top, let's just say top 20, that were built by a handful of people. And so I thought that was interesting. Or some people got help with some other fast guys that were there, which was encouraging for me. Because what I was afraid would happen, I have no experience at Electric Dreams, so it's hard for me to form an opinion of that track. But when I watch the races online, those guys are really fast. It looks really fast, and that might be just because of the camera. I've never raced on that track, so it would be really interesting to see what kind of lap times like one of my faster cars could do on that track. That would be fun to find out. Maybe one day we'll get out there and be able to try that, and then we can compare of how many seconds off the lap times I would be off. Find out that I would finish in 72nd place at the USA Nationals. But it would be really great to see. But I think that when we find out that Ian had tuned a handful of cars, Ian Douglas, for other people, I think somebody else had trued his tires for him. I think that, oh gosh, why can I not remember his name? The guy who finished second. I'm losing his name, and I'm way behind on the chat. I know that he had probably 4 or 5, maybe even more cars that he built that were running. I know Travis was running one of his. Maurizio from Slotted was running one of his cars. I know that I think maybe there were 2 other cars that were loaner cars in the last race that were built by him. Yeah. So I think that there was a lot of knowledge share happening, and that's what I was excited about, because I was afraid that maybe at a race at that level that it wouldn't happen, right? That they wouldn't share knowledge, that they wouldn't be that friendly. And so it gave me some hope for commercial track racing, because we've heard so many bad things about it over the years, that maybe that there's hope, right? So that was really good to see. All right, I'm going to catch up. Coffee. Wow, I am way behind. Amanda drinks coffee now. That's good to know, Billy. Glad to hear that. I don't drink coffee. It always falls out of my mouth. Must be an allergy. Bo, that's great. That's how it used to be for me. Put the coffee logo on it. Okay, Gary. Marty, looking at the chat, many of the 56 watching have less than 50 cars. Yeah, I would say that's probably a normal size slot car collection is, 50 or less. That's probably, you get up over 50, and that's probably considered a large slot car collection. And then you have, collectors that are, a whole lot bigger than that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I imagine if I keep at it, it'll continue to go. It'll continue to grow. Just finished cleaning my airbrush, now to dirty it again. Nice. Hit the like. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, man. Chris Fredder, same here. I just can scan the shelves to see what catches my eye and run it. Hey, Tom. Welcome, man. Good to have you. Nick V. Welcome from South Australia. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Nick. Hopefully you're doing well. Tom, come to Pinellas, Florida, September 30th. I saw your post. That would be awesome to make it down for a race at Fast Eddie's, right? Let's see here. Later, DNA. Thanks for dropping by. Another spoiler alert. We might be seeing a third-generation Mazda RX-7 bunny rocket. Let's see here. What else do we have? My Cobra print must have almost twice the speed of my Ender. Oh, you guys are talking 3D printers. Gotcha. I'll let you guys chat away about that. Write off the printers as a tax expense. Yep, smart, Billy. Oh, so Marty, are you changing your live stream to Wednesdays now? No, Gary. We'll stay on Tuesdays. It just was this week. I was sick and I didn't have any voice yesterday. I could not have sat here for an hour and a half, which is where we're at, talking slot cars. I just wouldn't have made it. I don't get sick very often, but when I do get sick, I know how to do it. So yeah. Sorry, Marty. I was just reading the chat. I should be working. Yeah, no problem, Nick. Thanks for joining in, man. We appreciate you. Nope, Chris, you're right. Nope, Tuesdays, 2 lines. That's where we're at. We're going to stay there. I do have a couple things coming this fall that's going to mess up my schedule. I got asked to sing with a big band, like a big band orchestra, and they are rehearsing on Tuesdays. So I'm trying to work that out a little bit. If they might be able to bump the time. That was a dream of mine. I'm a gigantic Harry Connick Jr. fan, and some of the old school big band band leaders. And I think it would be fun to sing with an orchestra. So they're practicing for an event, and they would like to have a male voice for a couple songs. So if my voice ever comes back, that might bump into it. I lead a study at church that's moving to Monday nights, just for a handful of weeks, and so that might bump into Monday night. So I got to work that out and see. And I don't want it to bump into Raul's live stream, but it might for a few weeks. So I may have to take a hiatus. I haven't had a chance to talk to Raul. That just happened yesterday, but we'll see. I might be able to have some flexibility there. So, but yeah, this fall is going to be busy. Last year, for some of you, I announced soccer games for the local high school. And after 13 years of doing that, I've stepped down from that, mainly because I didn't have time, and it happened on Tuesdays. So if you remember early on when I do the live streams, there would be weeks that we wouldn't have it because I would have soccer games on Tuesdays. And so I've tried to be consistent. So I didn't really want to move it to Wednesday, Gary. I'm going to stay on Tuesday. It was just for this week. Marty, you need a shot of whiskey. Yeah, Dusty, you probably help me with that. That's great. That's funny. Chris, I've got cars I'm still waiting on as well, hopefully next month from LEB. Yeah, there's a handful of cars coming out soon. September looks like it's going to be a pretty busy month for car releases. So, hey, Wild Man, welcome. Let's see, who else? I don't know if I'm catching up or not. Only 30 likes. I see 48 likes right now, so that's how far behind I am in the chat. Yeah, Tom is building a Polycar 4-lane track. Yes, he is, right there on the floor. Well, you got to start someplace, Tom, and get that thing built so you can run some laps. That's the important part. Yeah, the storm surge in Florida is pretty bad. I took this apart. We already looked at this, right? Yeah, any ideas? Send me messages. I don't know so we're headed to see the kids. And so I don't know if I will get a video done for Saturday. So it might be the first time this year that I didn't release a video on Saturday. Unless I can get something done tonight, but I still need to pack. So it is now 9:25. Guys, my voice is about gone. This has been a lot of fun. We did not accomplish a dang thing, but we did talk some slot cars, and that's always worth it. Good stuff. So I'll let you have the rest of your evening back. I'll wrap things up. We didn't even touch on this before I leave. Before we go, Daryl. This is another one of Daryl's projects. I don't know if Daryl's still out there or not. If he's listening. This is the Fly Porsche 911 GT1 from 1998. And it looks like, I think the fingers told me today that body actually glows. But all I have is LED lights down here. So that probably doesn't activate that body to glow in the dark. So, but he says that this glows in the dark. Now, this is a quick fly car. Out of the box, I threw on a set of silicone tires. I lubed it up. It has the Evo 2 fly motor. It has aluminum wheels. And it has a front axle, so it's not independent, like most fly cars are. This car is really good. It's the quickest fly car I have. It runs 8.7s. It's got great detail. I mean, it's not my favorite Porsche in the world. But it's a fun car to drive. It stays in the slot. I did not change the guide out. It has the original fly guide. Pretty impressed with this car. Do any of you have? It's called their racing series. I'm looking for here's the box. It's the Fly Racing Evo 2R. It says here that it's a 22,000 RPM motor at 14.8 volts, 30% lighter body, special ABS plastic, and a Lexan interior, which is why it doesn't have the detail that most fly cars bodies have. It is made for racing. It has the new racing chassis, which, if I'm being honest, not super impressed with. It's just a big flat chassis. It's still an inline motor, and it does not have a motor pod. So that could be an improvement for this car. But it does have racing wheels, aluminum wheels, and steel axles, and a new front axle. And it looks like it's a hollow axle on the front. So they went lightweight. And this car gets around. I'm super impressed with it. It runs, like I said, 8.7. It's my fastest fly car, and it should be because it's lighter and it's got a 22K motor. So it should easily be my fastest car, but I think I haven't started tuning on it yet. So once we start doing some tuning, get the front end set up, I think that it will go pretty well. And if this fly car will run in the, say, if I can get it down to like an 8.3, it's right there with most of my other fast brands. So well done, Fly. Do any of you have the racing series Fly Classics? Let me know what you think of those. It's a pretty neat car. DeFinger says that it does glow in the dark. I'll go find an incandescent bulb and expose it and throw it on the track. That would be cool. Let's see. I had one years ago, but sold it to get their slot cars. Yeah, again, it's probably not the most desirable body. I mean, I think with fly cars, everybody loves the old classic cars, but yeah, it made me mad enough. It's about to get turned into a laser. You're talking about the Ender, gotcha. And Matt P has a Formlabs and an NE Cubic. You guys are still talking 3D printers. Yeah, I have not gotten into 3D printing. My buddy Eli does, and so anytime I need something, I ask him to print it out for me. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. I got to get packed. That's been great. It's good to be back. It's good to be feeling better. I enjoyed the conversation tonight. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Thanks for helping me get to 2,000. It really is about you guys and your word of mouth and sharing things on my channel and commenting, and that helps the algorithm push it out to more people. And I still get the random people who make fun of my content. My favorite guy, John, he wanted to know why YouTube doesn't have a boring meter. He would love today's video. My monotone voice would definitely create some great feedback from him. So anyway, Don, Marty, I got a fly car from PTT that he smashed with a hammer. Now it is super flexible and faster than all my other fly cars. Don, is that the one he stomped? Yeah, Chris, thanks, man. Thanks, Patrick. I have a Lab 3D printer. I got what I paid for. Good night, all. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it. Appreciate that, Bo. Thanks, guys. You guys have a great week. For those of you in the United States, have a wonderful Labor Day holiday. And for those of you who have Monday off, enjoy that. If not, hopefully I'll have some release video on Saturday. But if not, I'll catch up with you guys next Tuesday. So take care. Go have some fun.